Hey, pre-notification gang. God Slap 4 win. I think... Is it 2 months? I think it's 2 months. Can't remember off the top of my head. But the anime opening is the end of this month. The music video will be mid next month. And then it'll be God Slap 4. Thanks, the resub Anonymous and Nate. And I roll. And the resub Milk, Wes, and J Mundo. And the resub Bruh, Kachow, Topographic, Shiro, Elise, and Sleep Trouble. And Gorse Power and God Tier. New car chase? Like live or finished? Thanks the Prime. Claws, and the resub Cordial, Cuddle, Frosty, Star Super, and the Tier 1 Cat, and the resub Simple Mocha. The bits Fidgets, Arrow, Alex, and Skeletons. Did I ever get into RimWorld? No. I know what it is, I never got into it though. Thanks to Tier 1 Antonio, and the resub Swaggy, and the bits Crow. What's the plan for tonight? No plans. Probably won't do more Wulong tonight. Probably do more of that tomorrow. So, I've got no real plans. We'll figure it out. Thanks to the resubs. Switch, Halsey, Mark, E-Unit, Cav, Higeki, Sheeple, Nico, and the Prime. Squirrel. And the resub Garnikin and the Prime Mike. And the resub Father. And the Prime Cryptarch and the resub Brett. And the bits Black Hole. There's some Fresh Vibes and bits Guju. The Prime Bradley. I don't think so, Aster. We'll see. Pretty sure we told all the stories. Thanks to the resub Alpha. March Madness bracket. I haven't filled one out in a few years, so I probably won't fill one out this year either, but we'll see. Thanks to the resub Lord Chicken and the Prime Sarah. Diablo 4 this weekend. Oh, right. Yeah, I'll be playing it. Thanks to the resub Brit. There's the resub blue. Do you plan on getting into League esports? Eventually. We don't have the money for that right now, though, but at some point it'd be cool. There's the Prime Melon. Sesame Street launched their NFT collection today. The Cookie Monster digital collectibles are going for $60 each. Yucky. Thanks to resub Schmokes. Did you watch the Gotham Knights CW show? Oh fuck, did it actually start? Nah, I didn't watch it. Thanks the Prime Tank. And the bits, no pain. And the bits, Yeety and no pain. You're gonna play Metroid Prime Remastered. I actually totally forgot about that. I'm not gonna lie. I planned on at least trying it, but then I completely forgot. Maybe at some point. There's a resub slow. Did you see the Aiden Ross side about you and Sneeko? Yeah, he and his chat clowned on him. I saw, unless Aiden's changed sides, but even Aiden and Kick literally clowned all over Sneeko. That got me giggling. Thanks to the resub. Abalus, Minox, and Tier 1 Spankler, and Bits No Pain, and the resub Imfosta. And the resub Ethereal. Moist Moguls next Monday. We play on Thursday this week, so we play tomorrow. We might play again on Monday, though, perhaps. Thanks to the resub Wally West. And the bits Crow and Prime Big Cat. And Haunted. And the 5 gift subs again, Ethereal. And the resub Beetlejuice. Have you watched the final Legend of Zelda? Yeah, I saw the final trailer for it. It looks good. I'm sure it will be good. There's the resub Ralph and the Prime That Boy. And the gift sub Shazy. And Aster. Did you look at the 3-day standoff in California? No, look at it now. Dramatic California standoff ends after nearly 3 days. Suspect dead after 2-day standoff with 100 shots fired. Yeah, I can't watch that on stream. After more than 48 hours, law enforcement in Valinda, California concluded a deadly standoff with a man who used a high-powered rifle to fire 100 rounds at bystanders and officers. Jesus. The shooter died by suicide. Wow. That sounds wild. There's a Risa Potato, Katera, and Tier 1 Zonked. And the bits Tooth, Cookie, and Saiti. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Cookie. That's rough. Not surprising, but it's still rough. Thanks for resub Booty, Justin, and the gift sub, Comet, Prime, Olsen, and the resub Mickey, Bot McEat. Have you seen Fextra Life having free stream views by embedding their stream into the wiki they make? Yeah, I think even Ludwig talked about that, right? That's been a well-known cheat on Twitch for a long time. If you embed your stream on places, it autoplays and inflates your view numbers. So if you just keep embedding it all over the place, you can just farm thousands upon thousands of fake viewers. That's been known for years. Thanks, resub Gory, Pop-Tart, Arrow, Timothy, Crow, Freddy, Asmith, Goebbels, and the Prime Prodigy. And the gift sub Night Owl. You gonna try Bleak Faith or 2 Mid? Oh, I forgot about Bleak Faith. That's a good idea. I hear it's a bit of a stinker. 5 out of 10 from Asman. 50 hours already? What the fuck?
Hello there. Themselves how many people created it, but nevertheless, I think it's worth mentioning. I invested a decent amount of hours into Bleak Faith,
Volky and the
so now it's finally the time
Sovereign,
to
the
talk
Prime
about all
Chef,
the
John, and
positive
Give Sub
and
Provolone.
negative stuff about the game. Let's start with the visuals and the setting first.
Give Sub Mervin. They straight up stole animations from Elden Ring, I heard.
We've seen a ton of Souls-like RPGs over the years, but I can say without a doubt that none of them had a similar artistic style and the setting. The unique artistic style that's seamlessly mixing medieval and some light sci-fi / cyberpunk elements, I guess.
Yeah, it's a cool looking world.
That might seem like a small detail, but it's a huge plus in my book. The footage you'll see is in 4K, but you'll mostly see 1080p footage. I had 0 crashes while playing the game, which is also worth mentioning. The lighting in the game is pretty basic and it seems static for the most part.
Hainsey, Birdman,
Some of the zones you'll get to
Hood,
visit
Felix,
are pretty
and
dark,
Gift Sub Mervin.
and they require you to use an item like a torch or a simple potion for emitting light.
5 gift
but
subs,
it's not
Mervin,
a
thank
huge
you.
deal.
It's crazy, like, you can always tell when a Souls-like game is indie, like low budget. They all just have a similar slow feel to them and look.
Bleak Faith is not wasting
I don't know how to
time with
describe
long,
it.
unnecessary tutorials. You get a simple cutscene that has some vague story details and you jump right in. While the game does have a couple of tips here and there, you need to discover how everything works by yourself. Right after you start the game, you'll get the feel of the action combat system. Bleak Faith's combat has a combo system, and if you don't learn how it actually works, it can feel unresponsive and a bit clunky. I had some troubles in the beginning of the game with the combo system because I'm so used to pressing the attack button at the end of the attack animation. Probably because the majority of action RPGs make you press the attack button like that in order to execute a good combo. However, Bleak Faith took the opposite approach because if you try to wait for the attack animation to end, you'll possibly interrupt the combo or spend a lot more stamina for the next attack. When you actually try to learn how it works, it's very hard to miss a combo, no matter which weapon you decide to use. As soon as you press the attack button, you can cue the next attack.
I mean, it's a nice looking game, especially for such a small team, but the gameplay really just does not look very good.
To work properly with 0 iframes, the hitboxes need to be very good. There are definitely some examples where I felt like the hitboxes were a bit unfair, but for the most part, I didn't have any bigger issues when avoiding attacks with dashes and dodges. I didn't use the lock-on button at all, So if you're wondering, it's entirely possible to play the game like this, but I guess the majority of people will try to use it. It's not hard to land hits on target without a lock on.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll play it tonight. Thanks the resub Kobe. And tier 1 Sofeto. And the resub Uchua. Oh, hey Rod. Thank you for the 10 gift subs, man. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good day. And thanks to the Prime, Dan. What's the most wild Florida animal experience? I don't really have one. There's not like crazy Florida animals. It's mainly just alligators, but it's not like there's anything like crazy going on with them. They just kind of do the same old, same old. These are bits Gibbs and Noob. The wasp attack? Oh, that's not like a Florida animal in and of itself. Are you talking about like a Florida specific thing? There's the resub Narwhal and the 5 gift subs Arrow. And the resub Cats. And the resub Zoldyck. Doing alright, Rod. Sati. Oh, my bad. You see the Murdaugh murders. So my dad just told me about that. I didn't know anything about it. So this guy, Alex Murdaugh, was apparently like a really wealthy, like, what is it, a criminal defense attorney or something? And he was apparently embezzling money for a long time, a pathological liar, an oxy addict, and he snapped and killed his son and wife. I believe. I think it was his son and his wife. My dad was telling me all about it, apparently. Or, not apparently. My dad was telling me all about it. Apparently, it was a wild case, and I didn't hear shit about it. Yeah, apparently the prosecutors had a video that the son had recorded that proved that Alex Murdaugh was lying about his whereabouts on the night of the murders. So I guess the story was they were killed at like the dog kennels on their property. Alex Murdaugh claimed that he wasn't there that night at the kennels, and he had like a couple alibis because they had his whole phone record. Apparently he called a ton of people to try and get a couple alibis. And eventually the prosecutors showed a video that his son had recorded literally minutes before he was murdered by his dad. And I guess it took so long to surface. This had gone on for like 2 years or something. It took so long to surface because they couldn't get into the son's phone until recently, is what my dad said. Fucking crazy situation. And I didn't hear anything about it during this whole thing. Thanks, you said Funzy, Shun, Komodo, Alter Gashiki, Sammy, Spencer, Godgrid in the Prime, Aiden, and Rub. His son he killed also got in a boat accident that killed a girl named Mallory Beach, and also was the only witness to his housekeeper dying, and he embezzled her life insurance. Oh, what the fuck? Holy shit, how deep does that go? He's a tier 1 Nimbus. Huh. Wow. He survived a gunshot that he survived a gunshot that he hired to kill him, but it didn't work out. I don't even know what that means. Thanks for resub disclosing in Commander in the Prime RPG in the bits perk and the resub all black aura. He hired a hitman on himself. What in tarnation? Maybe the big 10 gift sub, Shadow. I really appreciate it. Hope you had a good day. Thanks for resub, Stephanie. Oh, yeah. I already saw that one, Kopi. He hired the hitman to kill him so he could collect his son could collect his life insurance. What?
What family members did you call?
I called my brother Randy, and I called my brother John, and I tried to call a little boy, real good friend that's right around the corner from here, but I didn't get him.
Okay.
Well then. What Netflix's Murdaugh Murders documentary didn't tell you about the story. What? They already have a documentary about it? Well, actually, I probably can't watch this if they show actual crime scene shit. Thanks to the bits, Gasm and Adonis. Legal Eagle's video on it is really comprehensive. There's so much to the story, and there is another murder related to his son. Oh, this is 6 days ago. Alex Murdaugh shouldn't have testified. Well, yeah, didn't he get 2 life sentences for all of this? I don't think it would have mattered if he testified or not, right? They would have still had that video. Yeah. Life sentence without parole for murdering his wife and son. Opinion on the mothership coming to Earth. Don't know what you're referring to, but it sounds hype. It did matter. Because the jury said it made it a lot worse. But wouldn't that video still have surfaced? So they still would have caught him, right? Thanks for some Golden Waffle comic and the prime conjunctivitis. But I just learned about this thing tonight from my dad giving me the Cliff Notes. So maybe his testimony really did matter a lot in catching him. Like a tier 1 plane pedestrian. Oh, the video was the reason he testified. Ah. Okay, that's interesting.
Alec
Let me just
Murdaugh
get like
convicted
the
after he
gist.
testified in his own defense. Yeah, the Fifth Amendment exists for a very good reason, and District Attorney Seagal will explain why.
As the trial drew to a close, Los Angeles area double murder expert O.J. Simpson predicted that the Alec Murdaugh jury would acquit the Low Country lawyer of double murder. It turns out that Simpson's powers of prognostication don't really work for murders he wasn't directly involved in.
It wouldn't surprise me in the least if this guy beats this case.
The Juice was wise enough not to testify in his own criminal trial, whereas Murdaugh thought that testifying in his own defense might lead to an acquittal. It's easy to see how he made that mistake. Murdaugh men have been amongst the most prominent lawyers in Hampton County, South Carolina for nearly 100 years. So before I explain...
It's crazy. It is crazy. We have O.J. Simpson on Twitter dropping reaction videos, giving his opinion on how another murderer could potentially beat their case. That blows my mind. Thanks, resub. Tynanic and Chris.
Why the Murdaugh Hail Mary play didn't work? Let's dig into the background of this disturbing case because it is truly bonkers. Lawyers from the Murdaugh family held the solicitor position in South Carolina's 14th Judicial Circuit for 87 years.
That's
South
a good
Carolina,
run. That's a good
solicitor
run.
is an elected official who serves as the chief prosecutor for a judicial district. A judicial district usually covers multiple counties. It's basically a district attorney, but with a seersucker suit and a southern drawl. Randolph Murdaugh Sr. was elected solicitor in 1920 and served until he was killed by a freight train in 1940.
Sounds like a murder. That sounds like an actual old western murder where they tied him to the train tracks. Don't know the situation, it literally just sounds like he was murdered.
Now, some people suspected that the freight train incident was a suicide because no one could figure out why Randolph's car stalled on the tracks, but Murdaugh Sr. was succeeded by his son, Randolph Murdaugh Jr., known as Buster, who held the position for 46 years,
Cool
from
nickname.
1940 to 1986. During Buster's long tenure, the Murdaugh family's private law firm flourished in the small town of Hampton, population 2,000, because of a unique South Carolina law that allowed people to file lawsuits against the railroad in any county in the state. The Murdaugh firm is referred to as the house that CSX built because they won so much money suing the railroads. Buster was known as a
Good.
win-at-all-cost
Just what we needed.
prosecutor. The South Carolina Supreme Court reprimanded Buster several times for improper jury arguments during death penalty cases. On 2 separate occasions, 20 years apart, he told jurors that if they didn't impose the death penalty on a criminal defendant, he would use his power as solicitor to release other rapists into the community. Yes, you heard that right.
What?
It's hard to imagine a worse thing a prosecutor could say in court, but I'm sure prosecutors have.
And he got to keep the position? He would make these threats like, okay, if he doesn't get the death penalty, 5 rapists will go into Gotham. He sounds like the Joker. What? How do you not, like, lose that job after the first threat? Thanks to the resubs. Saturn, Abigail, Drin, Roxas in the tier 1 712 and the Prime Forg. And the Bits Adonis. That was his dad in the 70s. Well, I know we're talking about his dad. I'm saying, how did he not lose that position? Like, immediately. Elected official, so he just campaigns and pays off the right people. Yeah, but I'm sure there's still systems in place where if you're threatening to release rapists out of like a grudge, you can get fired. Like you can get like taken out. Like you lose your position, I would think. Because it was the 70s. It's not like rape was cool in the 70s either. I'm sure people weren't like rallying behind him like, yeah, that's fucking Buster right there. That's how Buster plays. Give the death penalty. Or 50 rapists. Buster, release 50 rapists into the neighborhood. He's a tier 1 Momo. easy to cover up shit back then. True, yeah, maybe they didn't really know exactly what was happening at the time. Maybe, yeah, that's a good point. I guess it's hard to know exactly what information was out there from these threats.
It's fair to assume that the citizens of the 14th Judicial Circuit just might be intimidated by a man who threatened to turn rapists loose as revenge. When Buster was done,
fair assumption.
Buster's son, Randolph Murdaugh III, was elected solicitor and served until 2005. Now we've come full circle. Alex Murdaugh, the now convicted murderer, is Randolph III's son. Alex Murdaugh worked in the family law firm and also volunteered as an assistant solicitor. Alex continued his work with the solicitor's office until he himself was indicted for stealing from his clients and partners in 2022.
That's what my dad was talking about.
We're gonna get there. So here's a question.
A lot of financial crimes,
Are the
apparently.
Murdaughs corrupt? Well, there are open investigations into two separate suspicious deaths that are linked to the family.
Tier 1 Slick,
in 2015, a high school student,
She.
Stephen Smith, was found dead in the middle of a Hampton County road. There were no tire marks or debris that would suggest a vehicle crash. At least one highway patrol investigator and the county coroner ruled the death a homicide, suggesting that the body was dumped on the road. A pathologist, however, concluded that Smith was likely struck by a passing vehicle's side mirror. Alex's oldest son, Buster, named for his grandfather, is mentioned dozens of times in the 2015 investigation reports.
Whoa.
Rumors
Wow.
swirled locally that Buster had been in a relationship with Smith. Alex and his brother Randy visited the scene and were seen going right through crime scene tape. The South Carolina State Law Enforcement Division reopened.
This is a lot. This is a lot. I'm gonna send this to my dad. I wonder if he even knew half this shit. This is crazy. So, his son, no saint. My dad's gonna love this one. He was glued to this trial, apparently. Okay. Thanks for resub Abraxas and the gift sub Birdie. And the bits Adonis and Bud. The guy really had rapists in the queue to join the server. Oh, you're talking about Buster still, yeah. I'm just going to take a guess that the other Murdaughs didn't use the same tactic.
Opened the investigation into Smith's death after officers found new evidence during their recent investigations into Alex Murdaugh.
Stephen Smith was killed on Sandy Run Road back in July of 2015. Investigators say his death was originally listed as a result of a hit and run. But his mother has many questions about that ruling. Now the South Carolina Department of Law Enforcement tells WSAV that information from the Murdaugh investigation has led them to reopen Smith's case. They would not say what evidence led to that decision or whether the Murdaugh family was involved in any way.
The second investigation. In 2018, Alex...
Very uneducated here. I'm learning as we go. I'm just going to say his son probably did it. Yep, I'll just let it rip. I think his son's probably guilty. That is very suspicious shit over there.
Alex's housekeeper, Gloria Satterfield, allegedly tripped over Alex's dogs and fell down the steps of the Murdaugh family's hunting lodge. Alex was the only witness.
What the fuck?
After she died from her injuries, Alex told Satterfield's sons to sue him for insurance money. Murdaugh referred the sons to his college roommate, lawyer Corey Fleming. Murdaugh and Fleming collaborated on the insurance settlement, but never told the brothers that they had in fact collected on two settlements, one for more than $500,000 and another for $3.8 million. Murdaugh...
Did you hear
This
how much?
is crazy, huh?
Did you hear how much she was at me?
No, I didn't hear.
I brushed her tail. Look at how much hair on her tail.
Yeah, she's shedding, I guess.
It's just her tail. It's
Nice.
all soft. It's very soft.
It looks soft. She's very soft.
Yes, she is. What are you watching?
Just about a murderer and his awful family.
And a few of the soft hair.
Mm-mm.
Why? Because it came from her tail?
Yeah, her tail. And her ass is always covered in little poop.
Why do you have a shirt here?
Oh, from yesterday.
That doesn't answer the question.
Because I took it off. Hey, Tetra. Yeah, I always got poop on her ass, usually because of her ass condition. So I imagine her tail hair has little poop particles on it. I don't want to touch that.
Knew that one of the brothers, Brian, was mentally impaired and living on an annual salary of $14,000. Yet he watched as a bank foreclosed on Brian's trailer, knowing that a check from Lloyd's of London had already been deposited into Alex's own bank account. Murdaugh later admitted to stealing over $4 million from the Satterfields. When a reporter uncovered the Satterfield settlement, investigators started looking for other irregularities. They found that Murdaugh was ripping clients off left and right. Alex Murdaugh's empire of lies started to unravel in 2019. Alex and his wife Maggie had 2 sons, Paul and Buster. On the night of February 23rd, 2019, Paul Murdaugh and his 5 friends spent the night partying on Paul's boat. All 6 of them were underage. Paul's friends called him Timmy when he was drunk because he seemed to have a vicious alter ego when he was wasted. Witnesses say that Paul drove the boat for most of the...
Why would they... Like a Jekyll and Hyde thing? Why Timmy, though? Thanks to Resub Odd Reality in the Prime. Confurious and Cozy. Because he was crazy drunk. Gotcha. I think the Murdaugh lineage is bad news so far. This is crazy. When my dad gave me like the breakdown of the trial, he mentioned nothing about his family, but there was so much goofy shit in the trial itself that I was still captivated. Apparently, during the trial, there was a part where someone started like pointing a gun around when like reenacting what happened, which was weird. And also that a dog was used for evidence because there was blood on its paw. And one of the jurors got tossed out because they were like disclosing information about the case, which you can't do, obviously. And as revenge, one of the juror claimed that they left an entire batch of eggs in the jury or in the courthouse or something to stink it up. Like, it was wild, the shit I was hearing. And he didn't even mention any of the family stuff, so I don't even think he knows. Easy tier 1. Dr. Ender in tier 1. Crazy Squirrel in the Prime. Noddle. And there's a Bubble Bowl, Backwood, and Give Sub Ant. The gun was the defense pointing it and saying, tempting. Feels like a weird strategy, I gotta tell you. I mean, I didn't pass the bar, but I'm gonna venture a guess that they probably tell you that's a bit of a no-no tactic. Is it tier 1? Pubo.
The night, except for a few minutes when Connor Cook had to take over because Paul was arguing with his girlfriend Megan Dowdy. Paul's friends say he assaulted Megan. The boat later crashed into a piling and they were all thrown from the boat. Everyone survived except for one, Mallory Beach, who was found dead a week later. After the crash, Alex visited Connor Cook in the hospital. Alex tried to convince Connor that Connor had been driving the boat, not Paul. Randolph Murdaugh III, the former solicitor, arrived at the hospital and stopped police from questioning his grandson. Alex and his wife Maggie traipsed through the crime scene. Eventually, Paul was charged with 2 counts of boating under the influence with great bodily injury and 1 count of boating under the influence causing death. Paul Murdaugh pleaded not guilty and hired a state senator who served on the Judiciary Committee
the Big Ten
to
gift
prepare his
subs, Rod.
defense.
Appreciate it. Thank you,
Paul
Rod.
never stood trial because he was murdered alongside his mother on June 7th, 2020.
What in the
June
fuck
7th
is
was the
happening?
date when many things in Alex Murdaugh's life came to a head. Jeannie Seckinger,
Oh, wait,
chief
no,
financial officer at Murdaugh's law firm, confronted him about money that she believed he had stolen from the firm. During the conversation, Alex received a phone call that his father's health had taken a turn for the worse, and that he was dying in a Savannah hospital. Seckinger stopped her questions so he could go deal with his father.
Okay, hold on. That's his. Okay, all the names started confusing me. That's his wife. Okay, now we've got to the wife and son murder. I thought this was a totally different son and mother murder. This is his wife and son murder part. Okay, all of the names started to throw me for a fucking loop. There is so much like death from like his own like family committing crimes now. Shit. There is so much to keep up with. No, this is a different murder. No. Maggie, 100% was Alex Murdaugh's wife, and Paul was his son, the one that he murdered. No, this is absolutely the wife and son murder part. This is a prime Jacob, Amakaliko, and the resub Few and give sub Bruce Wayne.
But a short time later, she realized Alex remained in the office.
That check never even came through our books. He stole it, endorsed it, and put it in his Bank of America account, and we found a copy of it on his desk.
He asked her about his 401k balances, which he was worried about producing in the Beach family's wrongful death lawsuit. A hearing was scheduled in that lawsuit that could have compelled discovery of Alex's assets. The Beach family's lawyer said he planned to sue Alex and Maggie personally because they allegedly kept a beer refrigerator at the hunting lodge and underage kids were free to drink up. Given the scale of Alex's financial crimes, discovery of his assets would have revealed years of Murdaugh's criminality. Later that same night, Alex allegedly found Paul and Maggie dead outside the kennels at the Murdaugh's sprawling hunting estate. Alex called 911 shortly after 10 o'clock p.m. He told police that he had just returned home after spending most of the evening out. Police concluded that Paul had been shot at close range twice with a shotgun, and Maggie had been shot with a semi-automatic rifle. The murder weapons have never been recovered. A firearms expert said casings found near Maggie's body were from a rifle round called .300 Blackout. After the murders, Alex told his law partners that he screwed up and would pay back some of the money he had stolen. But by September 3rd, the firm had found more financial irregularities. Later that same day, the partners
I'm getting
Alex,
a very clear understanding of exactly what's going on now.
Including Alex's brother Randy, agreed to wait until September 6th to announce the resignation. But the next day, on September 4th, Alex's friend Chris Wilson confronted him as well. See, Alex owed Wilson $200,000 after lying to him about a legal settlement. So Alex admitted to stealing from Chris and blamed his behavior on an opioid addiction. And then hours later, that same day after that conversation with Chris, Alex was shot in the head. Yes, seriously. Does this seem like a far-fetched Netflix series yet?
So, now we're at the part that I know. Everything that preceded this, fucking wild. No clue. But now we're getting into the part that my dad was talking about, and now I'm kind of in the know on where all this goes. Chat just educated me about this, so I have the spoilers here. But I guess I won't drop the spoilers. But I see now what has happened and how things have got to this point.
On September 4th, Alex Murdaugh called 911 and reported that while he was pulled over on the side of a road with a flat tire, someone had shot him.
I got a flat tire, and I stopped, and somebody stopped to help me. And when I turned my back,
Resub Twad, Link, and the Prime Roof, and Mitsuo, and Mo.
Okay, were you shot? Yes, but I mean, I'm okay.
Alex later admitted that he hired his cousin Eddie to shoot him. So Alex's remaining son Buster could
get the life insurance.
$10 million life insurance policy. But apparently cousin Eddie wasn't up to the job because the gunshot
Good picture,
wound was
National
just a blaze
Lampoon.
that temporarily blinded Alex. Eddie would also turn out to be Alex's oxycodone dealer. Alex later admitted that he stole from his law partners and clients to fund his addiction to painkillers. According
Hold on, then my dad's calling me about the Murdaugh shit that I just sent him with this. Hold on. Hey. Yeah, well, did you even know about all of the Murdaugh shit with his family? Like how his son is most likely responsible for deaths as well?
Yes.
You
And his son that, like, was in the boat accident.
yeah, the boat.
The whole deal. I mean, yeah, I know all the background of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then how he tried to set up, like, his own...
Yeah, I just got to that point. Cousin Eddie to like a hitman to shoot him for the life insurance policy for Buster.
Yeah, and then they fucked that whole thing up.
Okay, I didn't know if you knew any of that because you didn't mention it. That shit's crazy.
Well, see, that's why I haven't been playing any games. I got so into this shit. I'm like, I can't stop. It's like, see, that's why I said this is 10 times better than the goddamn O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, no, this is absolutely wild. I had no idea it was like so deep reaching.
I know. See, that's what I'm telling you. So you think it's pretty cool, right?
Well, cool is like probably a weird word to use for it, but like it's fascinating. Like it feels like it's some kind of crazy movie.
I know. I mean, it's like, and there's so much content, like on YouTube about
Yeah.
all the people in Alec Murdaugh and the whole deal. I mean, he was a piece of shit for 20 years.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, his whole family dating back to the 40s was a piece of shit.
Oh, I know, the whole thing. And the thing about him is he thought he was like invincible.
Yeah.
Like, and like his lawyers didn't want him to go on the stand, but he insisted because he thought he could outsmart everybody.
That's what the video is talking about. How against like better judgment or better advice, he still testified, which fucked him.
Yeah, exactly. If he wouldn't have testified, he would have got off. But he was so cocky and so screwed up on drugs that he thought he could go up there and put on a big act because what they said was he was one of the best lawyers when it came to like defending people. Like he would like act and he could turn it on like in an instant.
Yeah.
So many trials like that.
Well, yeah, when his whole family made money suing the railroads and shit. So yeah, yeah.
That's what they specialized in was the railroad thing.
Yeah.
So that piqued your interest.
Yeah, no, I had no idea it was this wild, but yeah, it's crazy.
Are you gonna do a video on it?
Well, I don't know. I'm just kind of learning about it right now from Legal Eagle, who did a really good breakdown. If you need like a recap, that's why I sent it to you. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I know. So the Bucks signed Baker Mayfield.
I don't care about the Bucks. It's not. I don't care. I don't care about Baker Mayfield. I'm gonna go back to watching Alex Murdaugh testifying and shit. Yeah, I don't care about the Bucks and Baker Mayfield or whatever. It doesn't matter. Yeah, that's well. He's got him put in the video, so I've seen a couple of the clips. Yep. Yeah, basketball was good. Just the same crew as always, really. All right. Yeah, all the same guys. All right. Yeah, he did. So I'm streaming right now, so I'll call you back later and we can talk more about Murdaugh. Okay. I'll let him know. All right. Love you. Bye. Yeah, he's really into the whole Murdaugh shit. He got like encyclopedic knowledge on this whole thing, apparently. He didn't even mention the family stuff, so I thought that'd be news to him. Thanks to the Prime, not Technoblade and the Resub Weeds, Oddball, Waterboy, Iverson, and the Bits Universal. And the Prime Lynn. Yeah, no, this whole family's rotten. Although I haven't heard anything about the mother, so maybe she didn't do anything terrible. I have no idea. But we're only 10 minutes in. There's still plenty of room.
Alex, on some days, he was taking up to 60 oxycodone pills. So
which is
here's
crazy.
The house of cards the prosecutors were trying to knock down. A very influential family headed by a man with an insatiable appetite for pills. The double murder of Maggie and Paul, who were mowed down on Murdaugh family property, the suicide for hire insurance fraud scheme, and, oh yeah, how could we forget, 99 additional charges by the state attorney general for embezzlement, money laundering, and tax fraud. First was the trial for the murders of Paul and Maggie. The trial was fittingly in South Carolina's 14th Judicial Circuit, the very same circuit for which his family had supplied 3 generations of solicitors. The prosecution really wanted to use the suicide for hire plot to demonstrate that Alex had a propensity for violent schemes.
Real quick though, was his plan actually to die? Like, did Alex Murdaugh hire cousin Eddie, goofball McGee, red-blooded patriot fucking wild maniac to come shoot him and kill him? That's wild. So his plan was actually to die. He said, come shoot me in the head. And then he survived. He's like, damn it. Time to change plan. Wow. Hey, a lot of things can be said about Alex Murdaugh, but God damn it, he gave it 110%. This man was ready to literally kill himself so that way his son could still have some fucking cheated funds. $10 million life insurance policy. He's out there giving it his all.
As the prosecutor said, when the hounds are at the door, when Hannibal is at the gates for Alex Murdaugh, violence happens. The judge initially ruled that this incident was off limits for the criminal trial. However, during the trial, the defense asked a witness about whether it was possible that drug gangs killed Paul and Maggie. The judge then reversed himself, ruling that the questions opened the door to prosecutors introducing evidence about Alex and cousin Eddie, since Alex was admittedly associated with a drug dealer. The trial's biggest bombshell was an unsent Snapchat video.
Yes, this is the one that my dad was talking about.
Alex told police he had last seen his son and wife 90 minutes before he found their bodies. He said Maggie and Paul were down at the kennels checking on the dogs. So he took a nap, watched TV, then called and left Maggie a message saying he was going to go check on his mother. Alex visited his mother and then arrived at the kennels around 10, where he found them dead. He repeatedly denied being at the kennels before he found the bodies. As it turns out, Paul filmed a Snapchat video just minutes before he was killed, showing a Labrador Retriever wagging its tail. He apparently intended to send the video to his friend Rogan Gibson, whose chocolate lab was staying at the Murdaugh kennels. Several witnesses testified that they could hear Alex's voice in the background of the video.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth!
Did the Snapchat video influence Alex's decision to testify on his own behalf? Almost certainly yes. The very first
yeah, and I think that is very clearly his voice in the Snapchat video. Very clearly. Thanks for you said, Pierre.
Alex did on the witness stand was fess up that he lied about being at the kennels. Alex admitted it was his voice on the video.
Were you in fact at the kennels at 8:44 p.m. on the night Maggie and Paul were murdered?
I was.
Did you?
So then he absolutely just admits to a lie right there. I do want to point out, this man's got some wild hair coloration here. This looks like a weird slider in a Dark Souls creator. He looks like a French fry with like some cheese sauce on the top. That shit is going hard.
You lied to Sled Agent Owen and Deputy Laura Rutland on the night of June 7th.
I did lie to them, and I'm so sorry that I did.
Other than lying to them about going to the kennel, I was very
Holy
cooperative
shit.
in every aspect of this investigation. Very cooperative, except for maybe the most important fact of all, that you were at the murder scene with the victims just minutes before they died, Prosecutor Waters said. Uh-oh. This admission was just the tip of the iceberg that Alex was about to hit. In every criminal trial, the defendant has a constitutional right to testify or to remain silent. The right to remain silent during a criminal trial means that the jury is legally prohibited from taking a defendant's choice not to testify into account when deciding his or her guilt. The prosecution can't refer to the defendant's decision not to testify as an indicator of guilt. Testifying allows the defendant to tell his own story, but he doesn't get to do it unmediated. When a defendant chooses to testify, the prosecutor gets to cross-examine that defendant. It is rarely a comfortable experience for the defendant, and prosecutors love it. A defendant's testimony...
Yeah, that seems like a fucking... I didn't even know that's how that worked. That seems like a fucking terrible idea ever to testify. What, like, if you could just say nothing and it can't be used against you, why would you ever testify? Unless you're, like, already losing and you think that your testimony could somehow save it. Unless you're actually innocent. But even in that case, though, like, there's a very famous video called Don't Talk to Cops, and it gives reasoning why, even no matter what, even though you've done nothing, if you're squeaky clean, you should never talk to officers. And the reasoning basically boils down to, the second you do, even when totally innocent, you can be worked, and it can fuck you in the long run. So the optimal play is always, just stay silent. No matter what. Theory sub profit, football, prime, wizard, audits, turquoise, the gift sub croak, and the prime Dalek. That is interesting. I didn't realize that's how that worked. It seems like doing it, like testifying is always going to be rough. Because, well, this guy is a lawyer, I guess, in this case, but for most people, you're not lawyers, so you should just let your team talk on your behalf, because otherwise, during cross-examination, everything can just be immediately fucked, even though you're innocent. But maybe there are cases where it works out in their favor, and I just don't know which ones those are. Who knows? I'm not an expert. I'm literally just now learning about how that functions.
It opens the door to impeachment. Impeachment is just attacking someone's credibility. Impeachment can happen in a lot of ways. For example, being biased, or prior inconsistent statements, and past criminal convictions. When a person doesn't have a criminal record to worry about or hasn't made any inconsistent statements, then testifying could be a safer proposition. Emphasis on the could be, because it's not easy to face cross-examination under any circumstances. Even a defendant with no skeletons in the closet can be tripped
he's even
up.
talking about this
We've
right now.
seen some high-profile defendants decide to testify in their own defense to mixed results. Self-defense cases often lend themselves to a defendant's testimony. In those cases, there has to be some evidence that the defendant perceived imminent danger of physical injury, and sometimes
Good point.
it can be hard
Didn't
to
think
show
about
that without the defendant's testimony. Kyle Rittenhouse testified that under the circumstances as he perceived them, he didn't have a choice other than to use the amount of force that he did. Rittenhouse stood up fairly well under cross-examination, and at just 18 years old, he really didn't have much in the way of a criminal history or other impeachable matters. In contrast, Elizabeth Holmes was on trial for defrauding patients, doctors, and investors by lying to them about Theranos' technology and business relationships. The subject of her trial was whether she spent years knowingly making false claims. Holmes had already given testimony under oath in civil suits and government investigations, which made testifying a dicier proposition. During her criminal trial, she blamed other people and claimed that her lies were just misunderstandings. When she said she couldn't remember the details of a certain topic, the prosecutor essentially impeached her with testimony that she had previously given to the SEC, where she certainly did remember. And the jury, of course, convicted her.
Lightly, might I add, I believe she still only received 10 years. That should have been a life sentence. The shit she did should have been life. And she still got 10 years. So, testifying, I guess, to some degree still did kind of work out for her. Unfortunately. Exit Tier 1 Stank, Tier 1 Canola Oil, and the resub Hulk, Soylent, and Lost Souls, and Squilliam, and L. Yeah, she even got pregnant in order to try and push the trial further. I remember that. I've talked about that. Elizabeth Holmes is an absolute villain. Elizabeth Holmes is an evil, evil woman who got a very light sentence. Thanks, resub Dank, in the Tier 1 Kaze.
So back to Alex Murdaugh. He's a lawyer with experience prosecuting and defending criminal cases. and also probably a narcissist. So it's not surprising that he thought he could handle himself on the witness stand. However, a defendant's credibility is absolutely crucial, which is why prosecutors try so hard to impeach. If the jury thinks the defendant is a liar, things go south quickly. And it seems like that's exactly what happened to Alex. Alex claimed that he told one whopper about his alibi, that he wasn't at the kennels before the murders. But other than that, he was cooperative with investigators and truthful in his testimony. But prosecutor Creighton Waters was able to show a pattern of duplicity. Quote, "The second you're confronted with facts you can't deny, you immediately come up with a new lie," he said. The prosecutor was able to call out numerous lies by Murdaugh. For example, when Murdaugh's plan to get murdered by Cousin Eddie failed, he quickly created an elaborate story. While he was recovering in the hospital, he brought in a sketch artist to create a fake picture of the non-existent stranger who allegedly shot him. When Alex's brother Randy overheard Alex trying to bribe a nurse to let him use her phone, he thought it was suspicious. And brother Randy called the police and the story began to unravel.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Fled sketch artist and spent...
Man, this guy just straight up looks evil. He looks actually soulless. Those are some hollow, empty devil eyes right there. 100%. Sometimes people just look the part. Christ. Thanks to resub, Suck Thy Ball, Minor, Benjamin, and Tier 1 Bond, and the Prime Caden, and Zim. Emperor Palpatine. Yeah, I guess.
Period of time with her, going forward and creating an image of the supposed assailant.
I did sit down with I was in the hospital and they came in, sat down with me, asked me a bunch of questions. I answered their questions, and
yes, you did. You sat there.
It came up with a composite. Yes, sir.
Sat there and answered their questions just as effortlessly and convincingly as you've been trying to do for the past 2 days. Isn't that correct?
No, sir. That's not true.
The prosecutor also showed that Alex would say whatever was necessary to help his own case. Alex told the jury that when he found the bodies, he didn't check their pulses before calling 911 because there wasn't enough time. But in an earlier statement to police, Alex claimed that when he found his family murdered, he checked their pulses and then dialed 911. The prosecutor's reconstruction of the timeline revealed that only 20 seconds passed between the time Murdaugh parked his car at the kennels and when he called 911. So as soon as Alex was confronted with this seemingly impossible timeline, he came up with a new story. The prosecutor asked Alex if he killed his wife and child. When asked if he knew who did it, Alex also said no. But in an earlier interview with investigators, Alex had actually implicated his groundskeeper. He also told the jury that someone angry about the death of Mallory Beach committed the murders. These inconsistencies undermined Alex's credibility. Then there's the mess with Alex's financial crimes. The prosecution argued that Alex's financial crimes couldn't be separated from the murders because exposure of his vast financial crimes was one of the motives
speaks to his
for killing
characters.
Maggie and Paul.
Well, not only that, I imagine that also helps to demonstrate, make a character profile, right? I don't know if that is actually something that's usable in court, but doesn't that also serve to poke holes in the credibility since all of these financial crimes hinged on a bunch of lies and embezzlement and all of that? Or is that not allowed? Thanks, resub, Papa Cat. Yes, for the jury. Okay. Okay. I figured, because it'd be silly not to, right? Like, you'd need to talk about the financial crimes, even though they are clearly one of the motives. Even if it wasn't necessarily a motive, I still feel like that's pertinent to the case. Since he's making a testimony, you need to be able to trust him as a person, like his character. So his financial crimes should be able to showcase, like, this isn't exactly a reliable narrator on things, right? At least I would think.
The defense countered that the financial crimes had nothing to do with the murders, and that the prosecution lacked proof that the two were related in any way. During direct examination, Alex explained that he committed a lot of financial crimes because of his drug addiction. Alex's lawyers portrayed the admission of wrongdoing as a willingness to come clean. They argued that a person who admits to lying isn't necessarily a person who commits violence, which is true in a general sense. However, was it a good strategy in this particular case to admit to years of financial fraud? Not really. On cross-examination,
shocking. That's shocking.
Scored several key points. Prosecutor Waters held up a stack of papers relating to clients whom Alex stole from. Quote, "Every single one of these, you had to sit down and look someone in the eye and convince them that you were on their side when you were not."
Wow, that's hardball.
Do you remember even one of them?
If you ask me questions, but I can't remember sitting down with Dion.
Alex's response? "What I admit is I misled them. I did wrong, and that I stole their money." What Prosecutor Waters was getting at was this. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Alex Murdaugh is sitting there and looking at you in the eye to convince you of something, but you shouldn't believe him. Just look at how he lied in the past.
That's
Moreover,
strong
Alex
as fuck.
testified that all of his financial bad deeds were caused by his drug habit, which was costing him as much as $60,000 a week.
Who put this thing together? Me! That's who!
But maintaining his drug habit and hiding his financial crimes could have motivated him to violence, especially since he already admitted to a suicide for hire plot to funnel money to his surviving son. Finally, Alex has now confessed to several of the 99 indicted financial crimes. He's accused of stealing about $8.8 million, including embezzling about $3.7 million in 2019 alone. If he hadn't
That's quite a
testified,
bit.
all of his financial
Jesus.
fraud, ripping off disabled clients, stealing money from a dead housekeeper's sons, would
What?
have been front and center in this case. After both sides rested, it was the jury's turn to deliberate. And to be fair, there were weaknesses on both sides. The prosecution didn't find the two murder weapons. They didn't have any direct witnesses to the murders, and they lacked forensic evidence that juries sometimes look for in this age of CSI,
Exit Tier 1
like a victim's blood
tiring
on
and
the
the
defendant's
resub
clothes.
Labisky's and
Prosecutors
Crunchy
guessed
Crow
that the pair were
and
killed at around
the
9
Prime
p.m.,
B.
but they couldn't pinpoint a time of death with certainty. The alleged motive could also have struck some jurors as kind of weak. While murdering someone to cover up a lesser crime is not unheard of, killing your own wife and son over some financial crimes, it could be a bridge too far. And since the prosecution claimed that cousin Eddie left drugs for Alex near the kennels, the defense speculated that Eddie or Eddie's dealer friends may have been the real culprits. But these gaps in the prosecution's case are to be expected. Slam dunk prosecution cases often don't go to trial. And whatever weaknesses the prosecution may have had, the defense had vastly more. Alex said all of his bad deeds were caused by his drug habit. But maintaining his drug habit and hiding his financial crimes could have motivated him to violence, especially since he already admitted to a suicide for hire plot to funnel money to his surviving son.
Yeah, I feel like
The
that's
Beach
just a nail in the
family's-
coffin. It shows that he's willing to, like, A, die, or B, have someone kill. It's violent, right? Like, I feel like that is just truly a home run of evidence. Like, the importance of that to this can't be understated. And I mean, I guess it worked clearly. You got 2 life sentences, but still, I feel like that should have just been so fucking free right there. These are the Prime, the resub Sky and the Prime Yeet, and the resub Fabi and Saint. They figured out that he'd have to be doing $50K worth of drugs a week to spend all that money. Bruh, popping 60 oxys a day? That sounds like he probably was at 50K like a week somehow. Exit Tier 1, swamped in the Prime. Gabe. Exit Prime Cucumber. That's a month's prescription in a day. Yeah. Nah, that man was fucking popping those oxys like M&Ms apparently. Exit Prime, Kemp and Shaboy.
Lawyer Chris Tinsley testified at trial that he intended to sue Maggie and Alex personally, which could have resulted in a huge verdict that would have destroyed their wealth.
He gets up close in my face and says, "Hey, Bo, what's this I'm hearing about what you're saying. If you don't think I can burn your house down and I'm not going to do everything, you're wrong. You need to settle this case. I took it as he tried to intimidate me. He didn't intimidate me and sort of bully me into backing off.
As for the weapons, prosecutors said casings for bullets from a .300 Blackout rifle were found near Maggie's body. And the Murdaughs owned a rifle chambered in .300 Blackout, and the weapon is now missing. Alex also couldn't account for the clothing he was wearing on the day of the murders. His clothes had never been found. His mother's caregiver testified that after the murders, Alex tried to remind her about what he was wearing.
I guess it's easy in hindsight, but I feel like even if I was in the court as this was unfolding, the second it came to that point, both of those in conjunction, I'd be like, well, he fucking did it. Oh, what kind of coincidence is that? Oh, so they were killed with .300 Blackout rounds. Oh, you have a weapon with .300 Blackout. That's a weird coincidence. Can you bring it in so we can just make sure like everything's, all good? Oh, it's missing. Well, what happened to it? Oh, you don't know. Oh. Okay, well, what about your clothes? Can we, like the clothes you were wearing on that night, maybe they picked up some forensic evidence from the real killers. Oh, you lost your clothes. You're telling me a burglar came in the middle of the night while you were sleeping and took the fucking clothes off your back? Even your dirty goddamn undies, he took them? Oh. Like, what the fuck? This is outrageous.
He also tried to convince her that she misremembered the amount of time he spent with his mother that night.
He said, "You remember the shirt I was wearing, that Vinnie Vine shirt?" That's what he said to me. I don't remember that. I don't remember him wearing that shirt that day.
Alex said he was there for about 50 minutes. The caregiver told the police it was 10 to 20. All told, this is a case where Alex Murdaugh had to take the stand. Alex previously told police that he had not been to the kennels before the murders. The prosecution was able to prove through that Snapchat video that he almost certainly was. Under those circumstances, Alex had to explain the inconsistency himself. His defense attorney couldn't massage those facts or explain them away. Alex had to do what plenty of defendants have tried in the past. I lied about this, but I'm telling the truth about that.
Impossible.
By itself, that's not impossible.
No, that is impossible.
The problem is it everything else. All of Alex's financial crimes and the suicide for hire scheme, and his credibility was shot. His testimony ended up sounding like something else entirely. I lied about this, and I'm lying about that. The speed of the jury's verdict, just 3 hours of deliberation after
nice.
a trial lasting a month and a half.
That's a gold split.
Speaks volumes.
Yeah.
The day after the verdict was read, Alex Murdaugh was sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences for murdering his wife and son. Rightfully so.
Yeah,
Agreed.
Credibility in front of a judge or jury is everything. Whether you're a lawyer or a defendant, your credibility
what
is
a
often all
fucking
you have.
story.
And once you lose
What an
it,
adventure.
you never get it back. It's been fascinating to watch all the crazy twists and turns in the Murdaugh case. And one thing that has helped keep track of everything is today's sponsor, Morning Brew. Because that's my favorite way to catch up with pop culture and news. In fact, they've been covering the Murdaugh trial for weeks now. When I wake up, Morning Brew is the first thing that I read. I've actually been subscribed to Morning Brew for forever. It's one of my absolute favorite newsletters, and I'm thrilled to tell you why. Because Morning Brew, if you didn't already know,
what happened
is
to
a free
Cousin
daily
Eddie?
newsletter.
That's a great question. I'm gonna look it up while he's doing the
business,
sponsor.
Finance, tech, and law in just 5 minutes. And it provides a fantastic quick summary of the most important issues while being witty, irreverent, and informative. And did I mention it's completely free? This week, I learned all about ChatGPT on college campuses, Amazon backing out of building HQ2 because, they're firing lots of people instead, and Chris Rock's new stand-up special.
He was part of the
Basically,
trial.
Exactly the mix of news that I'm actually interested in, and the stuff that I didn't even know I wanted to know about. And it's all written in a hilarious style. Morning Brew is one of the few emails that I actually open every single day. So, Legal Eagles, this one is a complete no-brainer. Morning Brew is completely free, and it takes less than 15
He's right now
seconds
in
to
custody
subscribe.
on
Just click
charges
the link that's
including
on
lying
screen
to
right
police
now
and
or in
owning
the
a
description to get
firearm.
Morning Brew for free. And not only will you get a newsletter that you'll actually read, you'll actually help out this channel too. So click on the link below to get Morning Brew
That's
right
the most
away.
recent update.
And after that, click on this link over here for more Legal Eagle, or I'll see you in court.
As always, fucking amazing work from Legal Eagle. What an incredible breakdown. Holy shit. That was wild. That was wild. I see why this already has a Netflix series about it. It makes sense now. Thanks to the resub 80s guy. Thanks to the bits in and the bits Jack. No, I don't know what that is, Jack. He's being held for lying to the police and not his hitman activity. Brother, I don't know what to tell you. From what I've read, it looks like he's in police custody because of lying to the authorities and owning a firearm. Nothing about nothing about being involved in this suicide for hire plot. Which I will say is very surprising to hear as well, since it is open and shut now. That he himself admits it, like it's all real. And they're like, oh, well, I guess your honesty, we can forgive that. Or maybe because he didn't die? I don't know. The resub Weidman and Bid and Elijah. Man. That is so crazy. Holy shit. People are bidding $100,000 for one of the MTG cards that hasn't been printed yet. That is sad to hear. What? Are you talking about when the $100,000 of Magic the Gathering cards were dumped in a landfill? Because I don't see anybody bidding $100K on an unreleased card. I'm assuming you're talking about from the Lord of the Rings set that's coming up, right? No, the One Ring card. It's a 1 of 1. Oh, yep. Hold on. You're right. Rarest MTG card may be too rare for its own good. I will say that's a fucking banger looking card. That looks nice. Throughout the recent sets, Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro pushing the artificial collectability of MTG more and more. New foiling, art treatments, serialized cards, yeah. Lord of the Rings set. The One Ring. It's a serialized 1 of 1 copy of the One Ring. This incredibly apt card will technically be the rarest in MTG's history, which should make it exceedingly expensive considering a single Magic the Gathering card is sold for $800K previously. That's the PSA 10 Black Lotus, the Alpha Black Lotus. It's not entirely unreasonable to imagine the One Ring selling for $1 million. In reality, however, this prospective price tag might be a little wide of the mark. After all, the Brothers War serialized cards all sold for significantly under the theoretical value which we calculated. I don't know the Brothers War cards. I gotta pee real bad though, so give me just 1 second before I dive more into this. Thanks to the resub, Harvey, Nirmal, Dolphin, and Weidman. I'm back. Thanks, Resub Texas. Okay. Reddit user suggested the rather tame guess that the One Ring will be worth 10 to 20k easy. Yeah. 100%. So, do you pull this card? Or how does it work? Oh, so yeah, you do have to pull it right here. It just might not get unpacked. I mean, people are really upset with Wizards of the Coast, and with great reason recently. There are so many things to dislike about the way Wizards has been operating over the last couple of years. Maybe there's just not that kind of demand, especially for sets like these. People don't really like it that much. So maybe that people just don't buy enough and it never gets fucking pulled. It's entirely possible, for instance, a new player could find, play, and ruin this card accidentally without telling anyone. Oh, that's such a great thought. What a colossal backfire. A, it never gets unpacked because no one's buying it because they're fed up with Wizards. Or B, some guy buys it because he likes Lord of the Rings. He gets the card and he's like, I don't even really fucking play the game. So he just like throws it in a box somewhere and it's never heard of again. That's so good. Thanks to the Prime Quebec and the resub Reiku and Hole. Oh, that's interesting, Jack. Thanks to Tier 1 Anon and the resub Trippy. Lore accurate to the One Ring. Lore accurate, yeah, that would be 100% on the money. This would be the lamest shit ever if they just give the card to Post Malone. Which I wouldn't be surprised about. Like a little sponsored thing where he opens a box and he just magically pulls it. I wouldn't even put it past Wizards. This would be a pretty cool thing to do. If someone gets the One Ring and they just destroy it. Big fuck you to Wizards. Hey Rex. Thanks to the resub. MC, Supercell, and the Prime Yandel. The Brothers' War is the most successful and best book Magic ever put out, so when that deck came out a few months ago, based on it, the cards were super high valued. Oh. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I haven't really been keeping up with Magic cards recently because I've been very not happy with the direction Wizards of the Coast have been going. I think it is abhorrent. Not a fan. There's the resub Mamba. Does anyone know if his elbow was on Hunger Games Part 1 or 2? You absolute fucking swine. It wasn't my elbow, it was my whole arm. And it's in Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. Card does look hard, though. It's a beautiful looking card. This is a nice looking card. I agree. But fuck Wizards. What if Konami does something like this with Yu-Gi-Oh? I don't think it'll be as poorly received because Konami has actually been making some decent choices when it comes to like the card game itself. Not like tournaments and supporting the tournaments or anything, but like the way they do the cards. So like they had their recent 20th anniversary or whatever, and it was literally $4 packs. Whereas Magic celebrated its 30th anniversary and the packs were fucking $1,000. Right? Like at least Konami isn't gouging everyone. The resub Bear and Sard. The gift sub My Goat Squirts. What a name. And the resub Nathan. And the bits, or the Prime Psi. Oh, Wizards and Hasbro's ass, but Magic the Gathering is dope, better than most TCGs. I know. I still prefer Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm still a Yu-Gi-Oh! Guy, but I do appreciate Magic, even though I've never been super hard into the actual competitive playing of Magic. There's your sub Skull and Dicephoria. Like, I'd be lying if I said I didn't really want this card. But I won't give in. I'm not going to be like a little golem out there trying to hunt it down in these boxes when I'm pretty confident they're going to do some sketchy shit with it anyway to ensure it ends up in someone's hands that will post about it online somehow. They wouldn't allow this to just flop, I don't think. These are tier 1 artifacts. And the resub Who's Matt. Do you care about the Ghost from the Past set they're making? Brother, I have all the Ghost Rares right there. I love Ghost Rares. And then there's been a couple that have come out since then. I have them. I still haven't done a room tour. I will at some point. I have a card store display case right here where I put all of my favorite cards on display. And just every card ever, really. For Yu-Gi-Oh! That is. Oh, and Magic the Gathering Masterpiece. Is it Prime? Payrin. What would you do with the card? It would go right in that case. Like I just put it right in there. I wouldn't really do anything with it. They'd just go in the case with all my other favorite cards. There's a Bits Distant Kin. Oh yeah, we're getting there, Kin. Godslap TCG win. Yeah, I don't know if Godslap would lend itself well to a TCG. But who knows? I mean, that card should at least have its own plaque on a wall. Eh. Maybe. Maybe I get a little frame for it if I somehow pulled it, but I'm not even going to try. I'm not giving into that garbage. I don't really care about the other cards in the set. I like the Lord of the Rings movies, but I'm not like a huge Lord of the Rings fanatic. I also like most of the games, to be fair. I'm a Lord of the Rings fan, but not enough to support Wizards of the Coast right now. So they can hold my dick. I'm not exactly going to be going hog wild on it. The starting offers from collectors are 100k plus. Well, that's how we got here, because that's what chat was telling me. Thanks to the resub. Stairfax and the Prime Artemix. And I have heard of that. Zazus. The fact someone would pay that for this is nuts. Yeah, I mean, it's no different than just paying for, like, a piece of art. That's kind of the same thing. Like, this has no use. You can't even, like, you can't play this card. Like, what does it do? Does it do the same thing as a soul ring? Like, I have no fucking clue. If it says in the article somewhere, I certainly missed it, but it's not playable. It's just a collector's thing, so it's literally just an art piece. You see the new free Ghostwire Tokyo update? Seems nice. No, I didn't see that at all. It is playable? Well, what's it do? Did I miss it somewhere in the article? Because I don't know what the fuck this says. I can't read that. Yeah, I don't see it. Oh, there's other normal printings of it. Oh, so it's not even like a true one of one. Well, I mean, this design is. But the card itself is already in the set. Oh, that makes it even worse then. So it's just the alt art card. Oh, that's so stupid then. Wait, that just really took all the coolness out of it for me. And like, that's kind of stupid. That's pretty lame now. That's still cool. I mean, the art's still cool, but like the prestige of it is no longer that interesting. If there's already a normal version of it and this is just an alt art. It should have just been like an unplayable piece. I literally just did that with those $1,000 proxies for the 30th anniversary. I would have thought that that's what they would have done for this card, but if it has a normal printing, then this version would be playable. It just had the same effect. There's a Prime Plague and the resub mittens. What's your favorite bad game? I don't know, there's a lot of bad games that I like. Also, I totally forgot to look this up. What's this shit about the Pentagon talking about a mothership? Pentagon believes an alien mothership could be eyeing Earth. What? What? Last week, officials stated that the supposed alien artifacts could send small probes to our planet in order to study it, similar to how NASA does on missions. An artificial interstellar object could potentially be a parent craft that releases many small probes during its close passage to Earth. Operational construct not too dissimilar from NASA missions. What? And what is puberty? I've never heard of this. October 19th, 2017, they noticed a strange interstellar object and named it Oumuamua. What? 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 I'm so confused. This feels super not real. And why is puberty one of the main sources here? I feel like this would be not life-changing, world-changing news if we had just identified an actual artificial spacecraft in the cosmos. Why is it only being reported by fucking puberty and I guess Fox News and Yahoo Life taking it up? What is this? What is this Oumuamua? Let's see. Oumuamua is the first interstellar object detected passing through the solar system. Well, here, I'll bring it down while I'm reading it. So is this real? I'm unfamiliar with the Pan-STARRS telescope and Robert Warwick. It's a Canadian physicist and astronomer. Works at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. And have his findings been verified by other sources, like peer-reviewed? Well, by 2019, most astronomers concluded it was a natural object, but its exact characterization is contentious given the limited observation window. Proposed explanations of its origin include remnant of disintegrated rogue comet or a piece of an exoplanet rich in nitrogen ice similar to Pluto. A number of astronomers have suggested that it could be a product of extraterrestrial technology. However, there's insufficient evidence to support any of these hypotheses despite all of its strangeness. So it's still up for debate if it's actually artificial or natural. In January 2022, researchers proposed Project Lyra, where a spacecraft launched from Earth would catch up to Oumuamua in 26 years for closer studies. It's crazy that they can still track it and like chase it down. Exit tier 1 sucks. Tier 1 mag receiving in the resub ice cream, Iarden, Jerpinator, Megan, Berto, and the Bits Nuclear, and the resub Glitch, the Prime, Jivy, and Pyro. And the resub Noto and JF and Tactics. The Oumuamua thing is real, but it has nothing to do with the fake Mothership shit. The Mothership article is just saying things have come from outside the solar system before, like this asteroid. Thanks to 2 gift subs, Eye the Storm. Huh. Well, how odd. We weren't able to silence puberty nor Fox News. I guess. Scroll down to an artist rendering of Oumuamua. Thanks for your sub, Kirby. On the Wikipedia? This floating piece of shit? This actually looks like when I made that Maya video of the mystery shit that I took. That actually looks like exactly what I made in Maya when I made the 3D model of the shit that I took. Yeah, I mean, if this is even remotely similar to what they saw, I would absolutely be inclined to think that it's one of these more natural explanations. Because I feel like any kind of artificial spacecraft that would be passing by Earth would look unreal, like almost incomprehensible. Meanwhile, I can make out exactly what that looks like, and that looks like a giant fucking elongated rock of trash. There's a tier 1 Fouetre and the tier 1 boat. And they give sub blasted and resub rodent. The guy from the Pentagon are saying it's a possibility, it's a mothership, and could be. That'd be great. I would love if it is. That would be amazing news. He's the resub Nikoshi. Can't wait for the probing. The number one, what's wild now? If it is actually a mothership and it's confirmed, the number one thing I care to see is Twitter's response to it. People fight about everything. I imagine they'd immediately start trying to, like, politically align it, like, somehow. Like, I bet those fucking mothership aliens out there are woke liberals because it's the mothership. Some dumb shit. There'd be, like, the most unhinged arguments of all time. He's a tier 1. Came out the womb in the resub Honeybones and Grim. Oh yeah, I'd try and sign him to Moisty Sports if we made contact. Absolutely. Thanks to the Bitskachow. This happened 6 years ago. Well, this isn't what we're talking about. This is today. The mothership. The reason we ended up there is because they were talking about Oumuamua. But the mothership is totally separate from, I guess, Fox News, Puberty, and the Pentagon. Here's the bitch Bob. Check out Secure Team 10. They did a video on this thing ages ago. You talking about this? Because this is hours ago, so I can't imagine. So I guess you're talking about this thing. Yeah, I never heard of that. That's news to me. Do you think if we ever encounter extraterrestrials, it would be evil or friendly? I don't think it would be either. I think it'd be just entirely fucking neutral on it. Like, they probably wouldn't want anything to do with us because there's nothing to be gained. All that opens you up to is a lot of problems. Like, if we found an alien race, I imagine the number one thing we'd do is leave it the fuck alone. There's so many unknown variables there. It could be disastrous. Disease. Again, there's an unreal amount of problems. Yeah. Disease. They could be carrying these crazy space pathogens that instantly just fucking kill us. Like, all kinds of things. Significantly more technologically advanced, so they just absolutely fuck our shit. Like, so many things. I don't think we'd touch them. We might try and observe them, but I don't think we'd ever try and make, like, direct contact unless we had 100% confirmed intel that they're nice, very friendly. But anything shy of that, which I don't think would ever come, it would just be at most observation. He's a prime, Josh. But you have to think also, if there's resources they want and we can get it, why not enslave the human race to get them? Well, they wouldn't enslave us. They'd just wipe us out. It'd be significantly easier. There'd be no reason to keep us alive. If they just wanted our resources, we're in the way. Enslaving us would just be a hassle. Thanks to the resub Forsaken. And the tier 1 hero. You can literally make elements once you have a fusion reactor, which we're near getting. Well, that's news to me. I don't know we're near getting it. They'd have literally zero reason to want our resources. Yeah, I mean, obviously. Everything we're discussing here is like the most sci-fi hypothetical shit ever. I don't see a reason they'd want our resources. The only thing they might want, if I had to put myself in an alien advanced civilization's brain that's somehow able to travel light years to get here, the only thing they might want is our real estate. Like, they might just want Earth itself. Like, if they need a different planet to, like, house themselves on, or if they need, like, a prison planet or something for their outlaws, whatever, that would be the only thing that would make sense. I don't see why they'd want, like, our water or anything else on our planet, because to get here, they would probably already have ways of generating that shit on their own anyway. Thanks to the resub Matt and Ninja. And the tier 1 Wed. And the resub Studa. You're assuming the aliens rely on the same things humans do. Yeah, and they very well could not. I think if there are aliens that are somehow even remotely close to us, we wouldn't even be able to process them. It would be incomprehensible to our feeble little minds. That kind of tech, that kind of species is just currently unimaginable. Alien streams are the best. Yeah, we've had a lot of alien streams. It's been a crazy year for alien shit. all of the UFOs, now this alleged mothership that the Pentagon's eyeballing or whatever. Yeah, it's been a crazy year for alien shit. Thanks to resub pop it. Thanks the Prime Sax. Strangely after the Queen's death, by the way. True. Perhaps she was the one keeping us protected. She signed a treaty a long time ago that was null and void upon her death. There's the resub, the Prime Legend, Fister, and the resub Sapphire. And the resub Crowley, Jiggly, and the bits Swavy. Do you believe the aliens built the pyramids? No. I think there is a ton of information to elaborate on how the pyramids were built. Is it Prime Land? So no. I don't think we have ever been visited by aliens. But I think it would be great if we did. What would you send into space in the hopes that aliens would see it? A moisty sports contract. See if they'd be interested in signing with our org. That'd give us such a huge, huge foothold in the market. Why are you having a schizophrenic episode, Beef? Exactly what the government wants. It's brainwashing for streamers to talk about it. What God... Right now, I would love for you to find me any other streamer talking about fucking aliens and asking them to join their esports team. What are you... You are having an episode of psychosis. This is all to get people to forget about the Epstein list. But Charlie doesn't care about that. He's so brainwashed. He forgot about the Epstein list because of the alien distraction. You need help. So when you watch a movie, do you think it's a distraction to prevent you from thinking about the Epstein list? Is everything in your life that doesn't revolve around the Epstein list a distraction to keep your mind off of the Epstein list? Holy shit. Thanks the resub Pink, Exotic, and Cadillac. And the bits Chromium. And the bits Schnozzle. Maybe Schnozzle, that would be kind of cool. Must have missed something. How did this relate to the Epstein list? It didn't. I don't know what the fuck that guy's on. Thanks, resub GS. I have no idea. I have no fucking clue. The Epstein list is still right there. It's only a single Google search away. It's all right there. It hasn't been buried. Thanks to the bits, ka-chow. Though I think it'd be a cool conversation to have with aliens, though. That shit would go so hard. Talk to them about esports. Epstein faked his death. No, I think he's actually dead, but he obviously didn't kill himself. But no, he's 100% dead. I don't think he faked it. He didn't Dino Spumoni it. Hold on. Quick text message. Yeah, I need to tell my dad about the Mothership thing before I forget. He's still talking about Alex Murdaugh. Thanks to the resub Phoenix. And the Prime Rest. You see? Oh, yeah, I did see that. Do you think any celebrity has actually faked their death like Elvis or Tupac? I don't think Elvis or Tupac has faked their death, but I do believe there's probably a few celebrities that have. Like, that really seems like something that they do. Thanks to resub, Hio. And another 10 gift subs, Rod. Thank you, Rod. Any off the top of your head? There's none that I'm still convinced are alive, but just the thought of a celebrity faking their death really seems very plausible. Thanks to the bits, T-Chun. Oh no, this was supposed to be a real T-Chun. It just ended up being like a goofy article, I think. Thanks to the Prime Tobar. The JFK papers. True. Thanks to the resub Exco. Do you think D.B. Cooper survived and lived a lavish life in Cuba? After watching Lamino's video on it, I am very confident he's dead. I think there is no chance he survived. Hold on, another text message real quick. Okay. Thanks a bit, Spider. Probably Johnny Spider. If someone actually faked their own death, we would never hear about it though, right? Not if they faked it well. Thanks the resub Jungle Ants. Has any non-celebrity faked their death? Yes. What? We read a whole story about that guy who faked his own death to get out of the marriage to his wife that he didn't like anymore. We read about that a long time ago. Oh yeah, and if you want to go like smaller on the totem pole of severity, I made a whole video about that streamer that faked his death because he was tired of RPing on his server. So he faked his own death, and they held like a funeral for him too and everything. Yeah, I mean, people do it. Normal people do it. Thanks to resub Coop, Quetzalcoatl, and the 5K bits. Alex, thank you, Alex. And the Tier 1 Cloud Surfer. And the resub Branch. Arkady Bachenko, a Russian journalist, faked his assassination a few years ago to expose some shady shit. It was a big thing. Didn't hear about that, but that sounds wild. He's a Tier 1 Corporeal. Yeah, I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once. I like the movie a lot. If you're going to fake your own death, how would you do it? I don't know. There's so many ways of doing it, but I feel like you have to make it creative. Like something so outrageous that no one would ever stop and question it. Thanks to 5 gift subs, Xco. And the resub Drunk Gamer. Well, he didn't fake his death, T-Chan. He just survived. Thanks to the bits, Weefus. And the resub Skosh. Hey, well, good luck with it, Chromium. Did you see the Bub Games video about the Gmod Nazi that got arrested? No, I don't know what you're talking about. Here's the Prime Fossum. When was Lamino's last upload? It's been a long time, hasn't it? Yeah, 11 months. Here's the resub Lukey. And the Prime Patriot. And resub Kevlox. I don't know why that just reminded me. When Dragon Ball Tenkaichi 4 got announced, there was a Dragon Ball YouTuber who posted his first video in 6 years. He was somewhat popular as a channel, and then just randomly stopped posting for like 6 or 7 years. And then Tenkaichi 4 got announced, and he just posted a video saying, will Tenkaichi 4 be any good? From out of fucking nowhere. There's the Prime Toe and the resub Red Pie. And the bits Alfie. Resub Kevlox and Val. Can we watch it? I don't remember what the channel's called, and I don't think he even addressed the absence. I didn't watch the video. I was just reading the response to it. I don't think he even said anything about why he hasn't posted in 6 years. He just kind of came back and he's like, yeah, oh, maybe this game's good. I'm excited. Thanks, resub Muffin. Did I watch the DB Cooper movie that came out last year? No. It was Omega 2040. Oh, that's what it was. Things I want to see in Budokai Tenkaichi 4. 6 years ago, Xenoverse Dodoria moveset. Now, things I want to see.
Let's start with the obvious. They showed, like, nothing. Hell, they didn't even give us the actual title for the game.
Yeah, he just goes right into it.
No, they won't even use BT4, and we'll use something like Super Budokai Tenkaichi. Not that I'd be against the name change, as it's a way to announce a reboot while still keeping a tie into the originals.
He doesn't say anything about it.
The name, let's get into the actual interesting things to talk about. What do I want to see in the game?
That's pretty fucking cool. That's a power move. You guys missed me for 6 years? Well, fuck you. You're not getting any explanation. But here's what I want to see in Tenkaichi. Is his mic the same as it was 6 years ago? Let's see. Does he talk in this one?
Just straight up, single hit, brutal strikes.
It's the exact same mic.
All the combos seem to end with some really painful blow, and I just love the humor in bouncing them off his head like they're a soccer ball, too.
Yep, exact same setup. It got worse? I didn't think so.
See in the game. Caulifla.
Maybe a
okay,
little
well,
worse.
I guess there's other things, too.
Yeah, maybe he just got rid of that mic. He's like, I'm hanging up the jersey. So then he just got out like a headset here for this. Will you moist meter Vinland Saga Season 2? I might. Probably will. Any games tonight? No, we played Wulong last night. But I got home late from basketball tonight, so I didn't really feel like hopping into Wulong again tonight. Just kind of going over some fucking wild topics like motherships being reported in space and shit. Oh, and then learning all about the Alex Murdaugh stuff. It's been a lot of crazy shit, actually. Shouldn't you be warming up your CSGO skills? We were actually talking about that, playing some CSGO, getting back in the Crucible just in case CSGO 2 does drop this month, the beta. That would be crazy, yeah. Thanks to the resub meat. And I did Kopi. Thanks to the Prime T-Deck and the resub Morez. No, the CSGO 2 thing is real. Like, at least the rumors and everything are real. And it's apparently in the NVIDIA leaks, which have so far been accurate. Thanks to Tier 1 Vizini. And the resub Riagon. If If you want a quick update on your lost media, we have found 2 people who know for sure they have at least one of your lost videos downloaded. I just don't believe that. What they'll probably show you is just one of the videos that exist on like other channels right now, like old, like a Modern Warfare 2 montage or something, like the knife one that's already up on another channel and shit. I would love to be proven wrong. If they actually had like an old Gears of War blind fire montage, that would be crazy. I just highly doubt it. There's the 5 gift subs on him. And the bits ham. I'm gonna fill up my water real quick. I need some water. Thanks to resub Pig in Mountain. And they give sub NBA fan. The resub Arkrim. And the resub Starkid in Babby. Did I make any Halo 3 videos back in the day? Yeah, a ton. You gonna moist meter John Wick 4? Yeah, I'm also moist metering fucking Shazam, even though I really don't want to see it at all. I'll do it for the sake of the moist meter. I have absolutely no fucking interest in this film, even slightly. It's so worthless because none of it's going to even carry over anyway. They've already made it clear that this is just completely unrelated to everything. The Rock's not coming back as Black Adam. There's no crossover there. Henry Cavill's not Superman. There's no crossover there. Like, all of this is worthless. It's so fucking worthless. Maybe Batman comes in? I guess? Thanks for you said Brandon and Usuals. Maybe? Remember we watch movies because they're movies? Yeah, but I mean, all of these movies are meant to set up, like, deeper shit in their universe. None of these movies really stand on their own 2 feet. At least not from DC anymore. They're all just supposed to be these fucking building blocks to something good, but nothing good ever comes. Thanks, the resub factor. I don't know about that factor. It's an interesting idea, though. You hear Kevin Hart and Dwayne Johnson are ending their partnership? Well, that's sad. They made like 1,000 movies together. I thought they were best friends. Is it because The Rock's turned into an absolute, unbearable, insufferable asshole? What do you mean he's an asshole now? Every interview he's done over the last year and a half, really ever since Black Adam. Well, you know what, even before that, when he was on Jeff Keighley's game ceremony, his game show, he was supposed to be there to be like, you know, a big hype moment. You know, hey gamers, it's me, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, here's some Black Adam's shit. And instead he's like, have you guys heard of Zoa? I'm just out here drinking my Zoa energy drink. You guys ever had Zoa? And then left. I don't know, he just sucks. His interviews are terrible. Everything he says about his role as Black Adam is, I mean, Jesus. He single-handedly derailed all of that. It sounds like he was miserable to work with. He seems to have completely thrown all of that in the shitter. I don't know. I just haven't liked anything he said recently. He's a tier 1 Sonic. So he advertises product and he sucks. If I get invited to what's supposed to be a big celebration of gaming for a specific thing, and instead of doing anything like enthusiastic about it, instead if I just go there and I'm like, well, I'm just over here reading my God Slap. Well, what are you gamers to? Well, I mean, I'm sure it's a cool game, but have you heard of God Slap? Yeah, you're an asshole. 100%. Yeah, absolutely. I used to give some Merlin. Oh, he was a great wrestler. I still watch his promos from time to time. And I like him as an actor. Well, liked him as an actor. He hasn't been in anything I've enjoyed in a long time now. But, yeah. I liked his content. He was amazing in the WWE. But now, I don't know. I don't like him at all. His beef with Vin Diesel is also super cringe. Thanks the Prime, Glorious and Wonka. Oh, Vin Diesel is super weird. Agreed. But so is The Rock. He has beef with Vin Diesel. It's the reason why he hasn't been in a Fast and Furious movie with the core crew in so long. Because he refuses to work with Vin Diesel. You guys don't remember this? What would I even type in? Oh, how about this? This has been going on for 3 years. Well, actually longer. I think it started in 2020. Thanks for the bits, Eddie. Pull up that one video of Vin Diesel unleashing the Grizzly Bear. What's crazy is I know exactly what you're talking about, where he got drunk as shit and he started like flirting with the interviewer. But it wasn't even flirting. It was actually just the most miserable thing I've ever watched in my life. He gets down on his knees and he's like, you got me going hobble, 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 or whatever.
First one, and God, you're so beautiful. God, she's so beautiful, man. Am I right or wrong? Look at her. How am I supposed to do this interview? Look at this woman.
Tell me your story.
She's so beautiful. Coño, man. Talk to me, baby. Tell me your story. Tell me yours. Let's get out of here. Let's go. Let's go have lunch. My God, I love her. Look how beautiful she is.
Thank you.
Thanks to Prime, wow. Chat, the resub Logan,
Tom Hanks.
Fold, and Auntie.
Yeah, Tom Hanks.
I found out that you are a nerd like me. You love Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm anything like you because I love you.
Oh, okay. Christ.
I'm anything like you because I love you. Guys, really? Look how beautiful she is. You guys think it's a joke. How am I supposed to sit over here when I'm looking at such beauty?
This truly is the ultimate Riz.
She's so beautiful. I'm in love. I'm in love with the interview.
So you play Dungeons and Dragons?
I play Dungeons.
He's good, he's good.
I brought you...
I did say I'm pretty good.
Did you? Eu sou o Groot.
Eu sou o Groot.
Eu sou o Groot.
I love her. Man, she's so fucking sexy. It's not this interview. Look at her.
Eu sou o Groot.
Does anyone say this? Guys, what's wrong? Am I the only one that's saying it? Look at her. She's so fucking
That's
beautiful.
Xander Cage,
like
baby.
You can't even do an interview with her.
This is for
just
family.
Like, da, 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 da. Right or wrong? Oh my God, and someone save me. When did this turn into beautiful world? When did this turn into the most gorgeous girl in Brazil? When did this turn into I love you?
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Vin. This was good. Can't wait to see the movie. Thank you, Vin. Oh, man. Fuck yeah. That's how you do it. Is he on drugs? No, I think he was just super drunk. I don't know. Thanks to the resub, G Money and Dusty. Thanks to the bits, Duck. Could be a drug or two thrown in, we just don't know. Well, yeah, at the very least, he is not in his right mind. It doesn't matter, though. Like, you have to be, like, on a big level of fucked up to get that uncomfortable there. That is some wacko shit. Thanks to the bits, Frunk. And the resub, Adam. Do you remember when he forgot to turn off his live stream at the Avengers premiere? What? Vin Diesel forgot to turn off his live stream at Infinity War premiere.
Okay, guys. Oh, awesome. So I'm in the biggest premiere in supposedly on the planet.
Brother, it's not like there's a ton of premieres going on every day, so I would say with confidence this was the biggest premiere on the planet on that day, for sure. Absolutely.
Look at all these.
Whee! Whee!
Look at that's the Marvel Universe, guys. Look at that. Look at that. Look at it. Look at it. Look at that. Look at that action. Look at that action. All right, let me get on this. Guys, you see this?
What is happening?
Groot coming out on me. I came to the premiere and Groot just...
What just happened? This is getting into Cloverfield territory.
Oh, let him flow. Oh my God. Yo, you guys have been in my pocket the whole time. Yo, this is like...
That could have been much worse.
My jean pocket is probably more famous than any pocket in the history of jean pockets. Because you guys...
What's up, Groot?
Hey, Bob, get over here.
That's getting chaotic. Thanks to the resub, Ahmed and Fred. The bits legalize the Prime Valk. Thanks to the resub, Nick. Mark Ruffalo leaked 10 minutes of in-game. Oh, nice. I didn't know that. Ooh. Thanks to the Prime, Chloe. And the Prime, Kiss. Why do we jump on people who are obviously trashed? What? I mean, it's not like someone forced alcohol down their throat. They drank a lot and then did something silly. There's nothing wrong with laughing about it. There's a bits Kopi and Mac. And the resub Equestrian. Thanks to the resub rocket. Ryan Reynolds sold Mint Mobile to T-Mobile. That was probably a very big paycheck. Wow. Really? $1.3 billion. Oh, goodness. Whoa. There's the resub, or the Prime fall. I don't even remember that era, Kopi. His old breakdancing tutorial goes hard. Did he used to do breakdancing tutorials? I remember he used to do old... Oh, it's this. I remember this. Yeah, I do remember this. He is cruising. What is this? It's Vin Diesel breakdancing. Yeah, he used to have hair. Even in his first short, he has hair. Wait, that's a cool move.
Remove the left leg and replace further left. Bring your right leg under and your right arm over.
Nice. Thanks the resub. True Alabaster Soft in the Prime Xiaohan. So can he still bust it?
We happen to go back. Yeah, I used to breakdance at Columbus Circle. I used to breakdance at Washington.
You're super cool.
Now I am.
We should reenact that.
Those eyes are...
Oh, he doesn't even bust it.
The New York Times.
Well, that's fucked up. Unlucky. Oh, it's a whole thing on it, Kopi. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I remember Vin Diesel selling the Street Sharks. Dude's like 60. Well, it's not like he was doing the craziest moves here, right? Like, he's not exactly head spinning. Like, I'm sure even at like 50 or whatever he's actually at, he could probably still do these if he tried. There's a Prime. Ken. You hear about the Florida woman who went to the city council meeting and asked for a holiday for sugar mommies and daddies? No, but a lot of people go there just to troll those city council meetings. Thanks, resub. Verosu. Thanks, the resub, Abe. And the resub Yulo. And Tier 1 Forest. Have you seen The Most Hated Man in Hollywood? It keeps getting recommended to me. All the time. I haven't watched it yet. But it keeps getting recommended. Maybe because I watch a lot of Steven Seagal shit in the first place, but I know this man's entire story. In fact, on stream, we've watched and gone through so much Steven Seagal shit. I love it. This is a tier 1 Kia. Tom Segura always goes in on him too. Is Tom Segura the one that does like a really good Steven Seagal impression? I think it is.
It's all the same cliche shit they said when we were kids. They now say as adults. Follows around the real.
Yeah, this is when he's talking about the. He's talking about the show that I have shown you guys. This is a show where Steven Seagal pretends that he's a police officer and he follows them around on their legitimate cases, doing nothing. It's actually amazing. Lawman. I think it was on. Was it True TV? I don't remember.
Episode begins with him looking in the camera and saying, "I don't know if you knew this or not, but for the last 20 years, I've been a cop." And you're like, "What did you just say?"
But the beauty is,
making shitty movies for the last 20
he
years.
is actually the best cop of all time. He's so
The
good.
show, he has the most unlikable quality in a human being, which is that he is an expert in everything. Literally, if a dog walks by, he's like, "That's a Shih Tzu boxer hound mix right there."
God,
like,
it's
"How do you
so
know that?"
accurate.
Like, "I've been working with dogs for like 35 years.
That is actually how he is in the show too. I love pulling up Lawman. Any excuse to bring up Lawman, I'll pull up. They deleted a lot of the clips, unfortunately. They used to have so many beautiful moments, but for some reason a lot of them got taken down. I don't know why, unfortunately, but it's so good.
A suspect about 6 feet tall, thick build, shoulder-length dreads.
Thanks for resubmitting.
Inside of the apartment, there's supposedly a .45 caliber gun. That's in a bedroom. That's all the way in the back.
You may notice that anytime anything happens, they go to a Steven Seagal reaction shot. And he's out here with the gunner gaming glasses and like an entire fucking like G.I. Joe suit.
And it's gonna be me with the shield going.
I must have
first,
pulled up this
followed by
clips
the
from this
long
show
gun.
at least 5 times
Chiefs
over the
of
last
Guard gonna
couple
be
years. I
third,
love this
and
show.
the rest of the crew can follow in however we see fit.
Get that guy. He just shoved something in his mouth. He rammed it in his throat.
God, imagine getting busted by Steven Seagal.
Now everything's under control, so we're talking to everybody. The guy we were looking for was apprehended.
We have a warrant from a judge with your name in it. With information based on you selling crack out of here, so.
You can most definitely find them drugs enough.
Yeah.
Well said, Steven. Well said.
You're bringing the dog and he alerts and research.
Sure.
When I search, I'm always searching in places where narcotics could be kind of hidden in plain sight. You looking to mitts yet?
Whoa, Steven, nice.
Well, these boys not playing, huh? Man, that's a lot of crack cocaine, boy. You going to jail, partner.
So what you saying, you found drugs in them?
Yeah.
You serious?
Yeah, man.
I said this before, I'll say it again, I really think they fucking planted it in there for the sake of this episode. No doubt. Hold on, let me see if I can find you the intro, if that still exists. Because the intro is great. Oh, here we go.
I make a living in the movies, but for the past 20 years, I've also been a cop. And along with some of the finest deputies on the force, I serve the people of Jefferson Parish, Louisiana. My name is Steven Seagal. That's right, Steven Seagal, Deputy Sheriff.
I promise you, Louisiana has never been safer. Anytime he goes to shoot a movie, that's when crime happens. The criminals have to plan their nefarious deeds around Steven Seagal's filming schedule. And unfortunately for them, he doesn't land any roles anymore. Louisiana is well known for being the lowest crime in the entirety of the United States. It's all thanks to one man, Steven Seagal. That's right, Steven Seagal. Thanks for the gift sub. Hey, thanks for the gift sub, Co. I saw your viral clip now. That shit went hard. Thanks for that. Glad you enjoyed it. Thanks for the resub, Min, Corb, and Andy. These are the 2 gift subs party. You see Putin honored Steven Seagal in an award. Yeah, apparently they're like really close for some reason. I don't really know why. Legitimately, Steven Seagal has only ever had like one movie that did well. Ever. Like actually just one ever. There's the Bits Oyster and the resub partial. I actually used to live there in Jefferson Parish, Louisiana. How lucky you were. A utopia under Steven Seagal's iron fist. Don't forget his highly popular energy drink. Not a lot of people remember that. I made a whole video on it. What's it called again? Sploosh? No, that's from Holes. What the fuck is it? Spark? It's like if you drink this, it'll get you laid. It's still on his official YouTube channel. Where's his... Man, his YouTube channel doesn't even come up anymore. Lightning Bolt. That's what it is.
Hey there. We want to tell you about Steven Seagal's new energy drink. It's called Lightning Bolt. It's 100% natural, and it tastes just great. In fact, it's so good, he likes swimming in it.
Steven, come on in.
Come on, baby.
Boss, I put another 2,000 cans to go to fill this pool.
Man, I feel so sorry for you, but you know what? I really wanted to swim in Steven Seagal's Lightning Bolt with you.
Yeah, but you know I love doing it, because I love you.
I love you too, baby.
God, it's so good. You too could be as cool as this fucking guy if you just drank Lightning Bolt. You fucked up. I can't believe it. It was right there in front of you the whole time. There's tier 1 Danny in the resub Eclipse. Well, that's surely not Schnozzle. Not Steven Seagal's department. Thanks for the resub. Aeroid. Why is he such a good actor? He was blessed.
Well, with you.
Yeah, but you know I love doing it, because
It's good to be the king, isn't it? And guess what? This could happen to you if you drank Lightning Bolt.
He's making a good point.
Try it today. It's electric.
Yeah. That's Steven Seagal's Lightning Bolt. Yes. Asian experience. Yes, what? You don't tell me you've never tried Steven Seagal's Lightning Bolt flavors of Asian experience and what was the other one? I already forgot. I actually think it has a normal name. I think it was just Fruit Punch. What was it? Cherry Charge. Cherry Charge and Asian Experience. Thanks to the Prime Bluppy. Thanks to the Prime Give. The guy has so many sexual harassment cases against him. I think I remember reading something like that. But it's all bogus. Steven Seagal would never do that. The women were throwing themselves at him, and the ones that were offended that he didn't choose them obviously tried to make a case against him. Like, these are... Steven Seagal and sexual harassment, that's ridiculous. No. No, sir. Accused of rape? As if. Steven Seagal? I don't buy it. Sexual assault? Steven Seagal? The only thing he assaults is criminals down there in the Louisiana PD. He's a tier 1 X credit. How many are there? What of his sexual harassment, assault, and rape charges? It looks like a ton. I don't know. I've never actually looked at like the sheer volume of them. I've just always known they existed. But a lot. A lot. He's the bitch Tory. He's an expert in that too, you know. It does seem that way. He's not in jail, so he, I guess, is an expert at it. Because these allegations have existed for quite some time and just continue to compound. Yeah, no, he does martial arts demonstrations to show how powerful he is, of course. He's not just an actor. Check out his Aikido. Just Steven Seagal wandering around up to nothing. Oh, criminal! Get out of here! I was just looking around for some lightning bolt energy drink. You learn your lesson yet? Yep. I bet you did. Oh, you thought you could bring a friend to a Steven Seagal fight. No siree. Disarmed. You're offline. He's the closest thing we've ever seen to actual invincibility. I mean, what more do you need to see? What else does he have to do to convince you? Okay, you know what? Fine. You may say, okay, so he was an absolute machine when he was younger, but now he's aged, as everyone does. So he's probably significantly weaker. It's like you don't even know Steven Seagal at all. He doesn't age. He just gets stronger and stronger as time moves on. Look at him. The ripe old age of 60-something at this one. And he's still a fucking spring chicken out here. Just as fast as ever. He actually did 16 registered strikes on that man's cerebral cortex. But you couldn't even see it on camera. Yep. Doesn't matter how old he gets, he just continues to evolve. His Aikido is powerful. Whew. Yeah. Bet you feel silly now. There's the Prime Sigma and the resub baked in the Prime Jack. I did not see the new Outlast route. Which one, Caden? Have you watched the Steven Seagal guitar solo? I have not. And thanks for the bits credit. I don't think I've seen this. Steven Seagal epic guitar solo. Is this him? That doesn't sound bad. Not exactly what I'd consider a guitar solo, though. You're supposed to shred. This man's still out here on that smoke on the water. Steven, please. Is this just looped? Am I being had? Is this just looped? Oh, it's got to be just looped. There's no way it went on this long. Like, I see they're editing it like that, but I feel like it's just got it. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Still cool. Here's another Steven Seagal solo. Well, actually, what's this one? Oh, this is better. Everything he does is so entertaining. Cool. Is there anything he can't do? Lose. Thanks to resub Bees. There's a new skip that saves roughly 4 minutes. It's interesting. Which Outlast though? Thanks to resub Goat. I see these claims pop up every now and then, and it honestly feels like paid PR from Seagal's team. Seagal helped train Brazilian mixed martial artist Lyoto Machida, who I am a huge fan of, by the way, who credited Seagal for helping him perfect the front kick that was used to knock out Randy Couture at UFC 129 in 2011. Like, I just don't believe the claim at all. Like, I feel like... I mean, maybe Machida said that, but I feel like he was paid to say it. Like, it feels like a paid PR stunt. Like, I could also pay a UFC fighter to say that I taught him how to play fucking Apex Legends or something, and it helped him focus for the fight. Like, you know, like, I really do think you could just pay for someone to say that. He's a tier 1 Dorian, and the resub Millie and Nate. And the bits Aaron. The first Outlast, it's early in the run. I'll check it out real quick. Thanks to Prime Skitty. Alright, let's see. When was it posted? How about I just go to speedrun.com? month ago. 5 minutes now. Thanks to Prime Moki and the bits, Aaron. Typical route, you go over here on these bushes and you jump over and... Okay, this is all still the same. Thanks to Prime Turtle. So this is the new part, because I don't remember doing this. Oh, so they found a way to skip that whole section where you have to wait there for that scene, right? Where you go in the door and go out. That's the big time save. Thanks to Prime Zero. And no, I haven't watched that, Faye. Thanks to Prime Ownership. Yeah, maybe I'll try and learn this new route. Sure. I think the Outlast speedrun's cool. I had fun running Outlast. It looks like all of this is kind of just the same. Thanks to Prime Mistletoe and Tier 1 Rum. Thanks to Prime Baba. Oh, wait, was that new? Oh, no. I thought he was about to do a glitch there. Yeah, okay, so that was the only change then. And it saved 4 minutes. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, maybe I'll do it. Thanks to resub Luna. The gift sub hoops. Thanks to Prime Ray. Steven Seagal built the pyramids. Man, maybe he did. Who's to say? Thanks to gift sub Dorian. Even if he didn't build our current pyramids, it's not like he can't do it now. He could do it whenever he wants. Okay. I'm getting kind of tired, so I'm thinking I'm going to call it a night. Alright, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. New subs, welcome aboard. Sub means a lot. Thanks for subbing. Enjoy those emotes. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great rest of your evening, everybody. Sleep well. Thanks again. And thanks for the bits, Faye. And the resub, Luna. And the Prime King. Sleep well, everyone. Thanks again. See ya.